I want to give you some tips on how to pick someone to help you with your personal development. Now, other content creators, I myself am a new content creator, so you might follow some other content creators that don't believe in sharing their weaknesses because they want to be the guru in that field. Okay, me, I'm gonna come from a different approach on this video because I believe in order to tell you what works, I need to share with you what worked for me. So when I decided that I wanted to change my mindset, which is a normal thing, I don't consider it a weakness, and I don't want you to consider it a weakness for yourself either. Life happens, we go through changes. You should want to change every 3 to 5 years. You should be leveling up in some kind of way, and you will get to a point where everything you know is at the cap of what you can do for yourself. And then you need to start reading books, you need to get out more, you need to travel, you need a mentor, you definitely need God to lead the way. So one of the things that you can do to help you transition is getting a therapist. Now, that word is spooky for some people. They're just like, I don't want to be sitting in anyone's chair, which is very outdated. May I add? Like, nowadays, therapy can be done through text, over the phone, via Zoom, everything. So, getting a therapist is a great way to hear yourself think. Now, this move right here is a power move. Why? Because you're smart. You're not stupid. You got to where you are in life because you are smart. You know your stuff. Whether you're street smart, whether you're book smart, whatever it is, you know what you know. So now what a therapist can do for you is help you bring that to the light. You're not always messed up in life because of what you don't know. Sometimes you just need to be reminded about what you already know. So when you talk to a therapist, you'll get to hear yourself talk. You'll hear your thoughts come out. You'll hear you will hear your heart. And when you listen to yourself, this same effect works with journaling too, when you're writing down your thoughts. But for me, it was more prevalent with actually talking to someone. But the therapist, when you're with the therapist and you're talking to them and you're telling them your hopes and your dreams and your past, things that happened to you, and you're hearing yourself talk, it's almost like revealing to yourself your own truth, and you're self-soothing yourself, and you're mentoring yourself. I want you to trust that your guidance and your experience is worth healing you, because yeah, there are expertise that been where you've been that can definitely show you a thing or two, no doubt. But I also want you to believe in the knowledge that you've already obtained through your self experiences, that you know enough things that can help you get out of your situation. Now, the journaling part. The journaling part works pretty much the same. But for me, like, I'm a writer, I'm a lover of words, so my heart overflows. I can just journal, and write so much, and it could just kind of become a collective notebook of just like thoughts. So sometimes I'm like, what do I do with all of this? Even now, as a new content creator, I have so many ideas and topics and things that I want to talk about. But I'm like, is this right for my channel? You know, would this make me a good brand? Can I monetize this? But this is for the people. Well, this kind of information might help my friends, but this kind of information that I have inside of me might help the old me, like a version of me, another woman out in the world doing things how I used to do it. I just have so much that I want to put out into the world. But all of that on paper can be sometimes confusing of like where to start. So when I got myself into therapy and I started talking about what matters most to me, that brought it home. That allowed me to understand that this is what's top for me right now. This is what's inside of me that needs to come out, or this is what's hurting me the most, or whatever reason. Now, granted, going to therapy to help with your emotional disabilities, satisfactories in life, that's not really what I'm touching on right now as the reason for having a therapist in this video. I'm particularly saying for it to be a way to bring to you your thoughts of what matters, to help you sort out what you want to say, what you want to do, how you want to move forward in life. Now, once you figure that out and you obtain that information through going through therapy, what I then want you to do is apply that to finding someone to help you further your personal development. But besides that, on social media for free are plenty of influencers and coaches and people with Instagrams and YouTubes and every Facebook, Twitter, you name it, every account, anything that you're interested in, the way that you receive knowledge, you can go to. So that is my next point. Do you know how you learn? Are you a visual? Do you need to see a bunch of talking videos? Do they need to be short reels like on Instagram? So you're just going to kind of like binge that knowledge like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Or are you a long form content kind of person where you need to be on YouTube watching someone as myself just going to sit down, talk to you kind of one-on-one, like, hey, you know, this is a 20-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute conversation that we're going to have that I'm going to enlighten you with. I'm going to try to motivate you. So you need to learn your learning style. You might be a Twitter or a Threads person. Maybe you want to like read better. Like maybe you're not really into all the talking. Like don't talk to me but so much. Like I really just tell me, just write it down. You know, well, they wrote it down and you read it and you get it. So figure out your learning style and then go for that platform. So there you're going to find free creators, free regular people. You know, everyone is a creator, okay? Everyone isn't in the business of influencing, but everyone on social media is a type of creator. So now once you decided that you know your learning style and you're trying to find someone to do personal development with, then you're going to go try to find that person. So you can easily put into the search bars like whatever it is that you're trying to get mentored on or get advice on. Using hashtags is a great way to find a person talking about that specific thing. Like I am a New York City content creator, so the things that I create come from my heart for New Yorkers first, as far as my talking videos and vlogs and things like out and about in New York City. A typical New Yorker might not necessarily care about that as much because they live here, so they might not be too interested in that. Or maybe so. Maybe they still just, you know, want to like get out more. They want to do something else, so they're going to watch those portions of my YouTube channel. But definitely for New Yorkers who are here and who are going through the struggle, who are going through the changes, who know the culture, I am talking to them. And the majority of my videos for self-love, personal development, relationships, parenting, because I'm talking about the culture of New York. Do the things that I say apply everywhere? Of course. Like most of the things that I'm talking about could be put into practice anywhere. But they're coming from a place of me being a New Yorker for the last 7 years. I've been here in Manhattan. Whenever you see this video, I don't know how long I will be here, but it is, what is this month? This is May of 2024 when I'm making this video. So, yeah. Okay, so go to a therapist to find out, you know, what's inside of you. What knowledge do you already know about yourself? After you hear yourself talk and you know that you know these things, this is what you want. After you figure that out, then you're going to go to social media to try to find somebody that can help you with those things. So the therapist is going to do two things for you. Not only are you going to hear yourself talk, but if they're a good therapist, they will encourage you to talk. So that would be one of the two things that they're going to do. You're going to hear yourself talk. But the second thing is they might give you life advice. They might advise you like, hey, you know, all therapists don't do this now. So you're going to have to shop around to find what fits you. Some people just listen to you, but they don't kind of give you guiding steps. So that kind of depends on like, you know, the nature of your sessions and who you're working with. And if you're not getting one or the other from your therapist, feel free to change them and find that different type of person, like whichever one you want. You want someone that's going to give you steps and homework and feedback on what you should be doing, or do you just want someone to listen to you because no one ever listens to you about what's going on? So I would suggest trying to incorporate both styles into your session, but you know, I don't want to be a control freak over here. I'm just trying to throw out some advice. Okay, so with number two being that they're going to guide you and give you some steps on things that you should be doing, then you can also look for a creator to back you in those things. So like, say if you realize you have codependency issues, and these are like words, categories, things that you fall into that you never knew until you went to therapy, and now you're learning this language, you're learning about what it means to be gaslit, you're learning about narcissistic people, you're learning about being a people pleaser, all of the language from therapy. Now you can go online and you can look for someone to mentor you in these areas. Now it's very important for you to study yourself through this process so that you're not getting filled up with the stuff that you do not need. If you are a selfless person, you need to learn boundaries. You need to learn how to be, a sweet, tough cookie. And that is a different kind of mentor that's going to push you to have blockage in the things that you're doing. I'm trying to figure out what's a good way to word this, but you need to stand up for yourself. You need to block things, and everyone needs to block out negativity, but very specifically people who are empaths, people who are selfless, which is not everyone. If that's how you are, you need to be looking up a certain kind of content that's going to make you tougher, more mentally resilient, stronger in your decisions to say no to people, and how to stand up for yourself to get what you want, which is completely different from a person who is very outgoing, not introverted, who is maybe a slickster. Maybe you kind of got a fast word for everything. You know how to pull something over on everybody. You're a user, and by your own admission, if you admit these things, because I'm not, calling anybody out. I'm just saying, like, once you go to therapy or you choose to start doing personal development, you will start to learn these blind spots and weaknesses about yourself. Some things you may know, some things you may not. Some things you know, and you like yourself that way. You just want to stay that way for whatever reason. I don't know why someone would want to be a user, but it happens, right? So to its benefit, I guess maybe in relationships, there's certain reciprocity that's needed, and you might want to be taught how to get what you need out of a relationship, and it might be a little bit challenging for you to do it the traditional way. So, which as a Christian that I am, I'm speaking of, I'm thinking of my heart, like how I was raised to be in a relationship in a Christian manner, and then the things that I learned from the secular world of how to get my way, and what is right, what I need to fight for, still with the end goal of being a Christian wife. But I definitely picked up some tips and tricks from some influencers and other just regular creators that are not monetizing their work. They're just online speaking their truth, telling their stories, and it made complete sense. So make sure you are following someone that is speaking common sense, speaking from a good place in their heart. Like myself, I am not malice. I am not, here to lie or try to harm anyone. I really want to suggest that you pick someone that has really good intentions, because someone who hasn't done the work but is online spewing out hate and is just miserable and bitter, they're going to teach you how to be that way, all right? And if you fall into that trap and you become so cold and narcissistic, and you're just like, you're going the wrong way with it. You're getting taught something, but you're going the wrong way with it. So, definitely figure out what it is that you need to learn. Find a creator or influencer that is kind and in their delivery too. That matters too. Are you the kind of person that don't want to be yelled at every time you're being taught something? Maybe you don't want to be cussed out to get the point. There are some creators that will cuss you out every step of the way of telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. And their message is so on point, what they're talking about, but their delivery is very harsh. So you have to decide, is that something you can handle? Like, do you have that grit? Can you just kind of like tune out the cuss words to get the point? Or do you want to go find another creator who's more gentle with their delivery, or more intellectual, that isn't using like so much profanity and all that kind of stuff to get their point across? Because everyone is not ghetto. That's just the bottom line. Like, just because you don't know something about something doesn't mean that you are ghetto because you're unaware or you're unexperienced. So definitely go where you feel respected. Listen to someone that you feel as though models the behavior that you want to be. So does she dress the way you want her, to be dressing, to be influenced by her? Like, sometimes these things don't matter, but how deep do you want to go? Do you really want to like mimic the behavior of this person because you see something in them that you would like to have? Then you want to take these things into consideration. So to bring it all together, basically you want to do some type of private work with either a therapist or journaling to figure out what it is that you want to change about yourself, because you may or may not know. You can just feel like you're in a crossroads, or you feel stuck, but you don't really know what is the missing piece that's going to get you to the next level. So journaling is an inexpensive way to get started, to let things come out of you that you don't feel comfortable telling other people. And then depending on if you have insurance or on a sliding scale of things, you could go ahead and look into get into a therapist to take those notes into a session to really kind of iron things out and figure out where you are in life with your thought process, with your past, and all of that. And a free way to do the same exact thing is to find creators, influencers. They are different. A creator is anyone online that is making sense about what they know through their experiences and sharing them to the public. And an influencer does it professionally, and they might have skills or degrees along with their own personal experiences behind what they're telling you, and they're getting paid to do that. So whoever you choose to learn from, it's important that you find out what it is that you want to change about yourself before you go pick the influencer or creator that you're following. Because if you do not need to learn how to be more selfish, you don't need to be finding a person that's going to teach you how to take from someone else, and how to block your emotions, how to, shut down and stonewall people. So there are influencers and content creators for every need that you have. If you are too soft and too weak, there are people that can teach you how to be tough. If you are so tough and cold and cut off, there are people who can teach you how to be more tender and sweet. You need to know what it is that you need to add to your personality to get the best results that you need. I don't think it's a good idea to continue building on any one thing that you know about yourself and leave the other areas in a negative. Like, for instance, if you have a 70% of being no tolerance, you're just a pit bull, and you're just cold-hearted, and you're just like, you know what? Don't even talk to me. I'm just gonna stay in the house all day. I'm just gonna not go around people. Like, y'all just, blocking everything. 70% of that is too much. You need to go find different content creators, different influencers, different information that's going to soften you, that's going to help you to see the beauty in this world. Maybe you want to start following religious pages to bring God into your life, to hear the word of God, to soften your heart, to help you understand how you can connect with people. It's just all about knowing what you need to add more of. Like, nobody should be all of one thing. Okay, you should have a healthy percentage of how to be all different type of things. The same goes for being a goody two-shoe and being super nice and being a pushover. It is a no-go. You do not want to be so sweet and so nice where everyone out here is just trying you, running over you, using you, and abusing you. You need to go follow someone that's going to teach you how to have boundaries and how to be tougher and how to say no and how to push back and how to stand up for yourself. Because that's not good reciprocity. Like, you need to get your love reciprocated to you. So that's my tip on how to pick out who you're following online, and I hope this helps.